God, good morning, everybody. When we planned this stream, I kind of forgot that it was daylight savings time, which is fine for me because I get up early anyway. That's just what I do. I know that that is not what everybody does. So thank you for joining me. We got a lot to do today. I got all my in-game garbage done so that we could try to get as many of these done as possible. Ooh, I'm getting notifications on Discord for my own event, which is kind of silly. Cap, it's kind of like what I do on all of your streams. I sit there and I lurk in the mornings, I guess, except for Sundays, since I know you are lucky enough to be able to stream during prime time on that day. We've got 19 roster reviews. I have no expectation that we're going to get through them all this morning, but we're sure as shit gonna try. Sure as shit going to try. We're gonna see what happens. Let's pull this first one up. What do I have? I have Discord up. Let me tag this. 5 minutes. Okay, so originally this person had asked me for a roast, which is not really what I do, but I've been trying to accommodate people for the hell of it just to see what happens. And then we kind of talked about it and decided, hey, maybe we do want some actual advice. So what do we got? Currently working on Leia, nearly all requirements at G13, Rebel Roundup CT2, Forest Moon, CT2, Places of Power, CT3, Ground War, Secrets and Shadows, Fanatical Devotion, all 0. I think we're missing Military Might in there, but that's fine. I'm fairly even on doing fun to meta farms, and for a tune I know I don't need but desperately want, it'd be Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. Alright, so we want Cal Kestis, we go from there. Let me pull up this GG. There we go. Godzilla, I don't know how you guys manage with 2 accounts. It blows my mind when people play multiple accounts. I can't fathom the amount of time. But I know that obviously people generally play one more seriously and one that's maybe not as serious. But that Zeta crunch is real, and I'm actually starting to get low on my horde as well, just from having to apply all of the Gungan ones. Alright, let's see what we got here. So we want Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. We're working on Leia. Okay. Arena page. Highest rank, lowest rank, current. Interesting with that too. Okay. Alright, okay. I'm telling you guys, like, fleets, man. Fleets make the game so much easier. I don't understand when people don't go after their fleets, especially at 5 million galactic power. Morning Dank, yeah, we stream Sunday mornings, which I know can be kind of tough for people, but that's the time I have available to me, and it's my quiet time, it's my peace time. Let's see. So probably both Lightspeed bundles here. Maybe the Starkiller bundle, maybe they just got Starkiller. I want to check on those Leia requirements in a second. Let's see. Scout we're still looking for, so still 5 stars. We're looking at probably like 185 shards as a maximum. 185 is going to be somewhere around the 3 to 4 month mark. Nessa. Okay, and Rex. Interesting. It's interesting that we see Captain Rex so low comparative to the other requirements that we have going on here. just because he was the first one, he's been out the longest with all of the bonus events. Nesso is definitely the smarter thing to do on those bonus events, but given that we're looking at almost like 6 months since release at this point, it's just interesting to see it at just 4 stars. Dank, yeah, I do roster reviews on Sunday mornings, and other stuff, Conquest TB, all of the other things that I go through my Discord. So if you were to pop in my Discord, you could see the request channel. We actually have 19 in the pipeline. I don't know if we're gonna get them all done today, but we're gonna try, and we're gonna see what happens. I want to see what our ships are looking like. Let's see. Interesting. So we've put like no priority at all to ships, which is just so mind-blowing to me that at 5 million GP, it's like we're not even close to any of them. And for any of you guys watching who are maybe newer or kind of learning the game, this is like a mid-level account. So somebody that has been playing for a little while, this is something you really have to prioritize early on. That's 300 to 400 free crystals a day, which, you know, for most people you're getting 0 free crystals. So when you're talking about even getting 300 per day, that's 9,000 crystals a month, right? If you manage to hit 400 or first place every single day, that's 12,000 crystals a month. That's for free. That's almost a crystal vault. So putting priority there is, well, let me reverse that and say not putting priority there is just a really, really insane thing. Morning Moon, which is weird to say just because we've been chatting all morning anyway. Let's see. Vader. Well, we don't give a shit about Vader right now. Jabba the Hutt. Cal Kestis. Alright, now you mentioned Cal as like a fun farm, something that you really like. I'm assuming you like the games. I don't personally get it, but you know, that is everybody's own prerogative to go towards. So let's just kind of check those out. Where's Baby Cal at? Baby Cal's at Relics. Sears at 4 stars. Godzilla, you're on the Discord, man. If you want a review for your alt account, 100% set it up. It might take me a week or two with the amount we got coming in, but it's an alt account. It shouldn't matter too much. Marin. Okay. Saw. I need a poster on my wall, like a whiteboard here with all of this stuff. Alright, well, we were chatting all morning to me. It was like 6:30 in the morning. Tarful. Okay, alright. So, I'm just going to address Cal Kestis here, just because you had mentioned this as a fun farm that you really want to do. Those farms are starting to become accelerated. I'm not someone that says you have to only go for accelerated farms, but when you are at a point where we're so close to them being accelerated, and you're outside of the point where you'll be able to get them for, at the next event, which is like the 20th to the 27th, there's no reason to heavily prioritize. I would maybe start, if you really want to do those, is start farming them as they become accelerated. We're going to be looking at like a June to July release if they stick to the 1 year in terms of him being available all of the time. And you're looking at, with accelerated release, like 2 to 3 months based on where you are with each one, being able to get them. I think that Tarful, I'm not looking at the marquee release structure right now, so I'm just guessing. I think he came out in either April or May, so he would be the slowest one, even if it's May. I think Tarful was last. I'm not 100% sure. It was either Saw or Tarful, but I think it was Tarful. whoever it is, that's going to push you 2 to 3 months. So if you want to do a 1 refresh a day to get cal a little faster, that's fine. I wouldn't necessarily really recommend it. We have a lot of things that we need to do on this count if we really want to shape it up, and if we really want to be able to compete. I don't want to say at a higher level, because not everybody wants to compete at a higher level, but more efficiently with the resources that we have available to us can be a really important metric. Even as someone who's maybe a daily but more casual player, if you're hitting, let's say, top 5 3 times a week, right, and the other days you're just too busy, that's going to kind of give you a much better basis for crystals. And even on those days that you're not hitting top 5 3 times a week, you're going to at least be in the top 20 to top 50, and you'll be getting some degree of crystals. So that's something we kind of want to shore up right now. I'm thinking, normally I suggest people to go for C, and I tell people to go for Executor. I don't really think that that is super right in your case. Wampa. Okay. Let's see. Quercetan, Skiff, and Bosch. And what about Rolo? Rebel Officer. Okay. So it's going to take a couple of months in order to do this, but I think that we can kind of fix this. I don't want to say fix the account, but we can kind of fix your ROI a little bit and kind of go off of what you're already working on. I would say, based on your progress with Leia, and I just want to double check that one more time before I commit to anything. It's so far. It really is so far. All right, so a lot of people say start a farm, finish a farm, never abandon a farm. I don't agree with that. I don't think that it's the right mentality for anybody. I think that people need to address and understand when a farm might not be the smartest thing for them, and move towards something that's going to maybe work better for them. I had thought that maybe you were closer to Gialea, and then I would have said, hey, go for her first and finish her up. If you want to finish her up, if you want to continue with her, then just kind of reverse the advice that I'm going to give you and do Leia first and then this next thing. But what I really think you need to start doing is going for Jedi Knight Luke, Hermit Yoda, finish up Wampa, get Jedi Master Luke. All right, Jedi Master Luke is going to help you pretty significantly in Conquest. He's going to build your ROI for Ground War. And we did not check your ROI on Military Might. We'll kind of just take a quick look at that now, because that's one that you didn't give me. But I'm going to assume, based off of what you have, that it's probably going to help you with your ROI there on Military Might as well. Well, maybe. You might be, honestly, you could probably be doing CT2, maybe. You could definitely be doing CT2. You're probably not doing CT3 without Chupio, based on what your rebels look like right now. But I definitely think you should be going for Jedi Master Luke. And one of the important reasons why is I think that you need to actually skip Executor, and you need to go right for Profundity. Okay, so if you were to go for Jedi Master Luke, it's going to help you with your Conquest, it's going to help you with your ROI, it's going to give you a really solid GL. Towards the end game, he's not great on defense, but you're not at the end game. And it's also going to give you a launching point for Profundity, which I think is your best option right now for GL ships, right? Just looking at what we have available to us, Leviathan is not really in our reach. Yeah, didn't think so. We don't know what's going to happen with the fleet meta going forward. I'm assuming in the next 2 months we're going to find out what's next, but that's not really pertinent to you because that could be really tough to get comparative to what Leviathan was. So I think Jedi Master Luke into Profundity is probably the best bet. After that, there is, Fat Phil and I, we kind of did this whole thing, and we were arguing or debating over the best way to build a roster, but I think largely we agree that Jabba is one of the best ROI characters to get, for modding especially. So I really think that that's the solid route for you, and going Jedi Master Luke Profundity really helps with that Jabba route as well, with Jedi Knight Luke and with Outrider. So you're going to find that to be an easier time. I would hold off on Leia. She doesn't really offer an account the best options in terms of building for success. By the time you finish her, the raid is going to be done anyway. She's great. She's strong. Her datacrons will all be gone. Like the ones that people use with like protection, they'll all be gone by the time you get her. I'm sure they'll continue to roll out and come back around, but she's not going to offer you anything that anybody else can't get you. If you want to finish Leia first, it is going to slow you down, but I get it, right? When you are committed to something, I understand the desire to finish it, but realistically, you are closer to Jedi Master Luke anyway, which means that you'll kind of see, you'll be able to build into that a lot quicker, and you'll see a higher Kyrotech acquisition rate when you kind of build up Ground War, and the same thing with your Zetas as well. And as you go into Jabba, you know, you'll be able to build your modding, and that's gonna help explode your progress. When you get Profundity, you know, we talk a lot about your fleet chart and talking to your fleet chart. I'm assuming this fleet chart is maybe a little advanced, so there's probably going to be some Profundities. There's probably going to be a bunch of Leviathans. Your Profundity should be able to compete to it. I have not tested this. I cannot confirm this. I have been hearing a lot of chatter that putting Mark 6 in the opening lineup of a Profundity lineup counters the Leviathan meta pretty well. I haven't looked into it yet. Some of the guys on our Discord were talking about it. I just haven't had the time to see. It's something to look into. Mark 6 is a pretty easy option because it's easy to farm, or will be easy to farm. I don't even remember if you're able to yet. I'm assuming so. It's been so long. But Profundity is what's going to help you there. And what you'll notice, and people are kind of apprehensive to switching up from no fleets to fleets, what you'll notice is you go from always struggling to finding that you have more resources than you know what to do with, right? That's kind of the beauty once you start working on those, on your fleets, is you're so used to running or walking at this snail's pace, and then you finally get to start running and you're like, holy shit, like this, where was this my whole game time? I think about that all the time because I was almost 3 years into playing before I prioritized my fleets. Now, luckily for me, the Negotiator meta was so stale, and this was before Executor, so it was very, very easy to break into. It's a little bit harder. It's a little bit more time-consuming now. You know, Jedi Knight Cal Kestis as a fun farm, as something that you really want to do, I would recommend just slow farming those things as they become accelerated, because it's going to be accelerated very, very soon. And you can kind of build those up. You're not in any rush. It's going to be another 3 months before he comes out anyway, and then at that point, he's going to be accelerated. Okay. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. So we're going to move on. Throw this next one up there. I don't know if we're making good time or not. No idea. I'm going to have to scroll up. Godzilla, so if you go on the Discord, I know some people are confused about this, and with our Discord and everything, the first thing you have to do if you haven't already is you have to go to the welcome channel, and you have to basically agree to the rules. Once you do that, the server opens up a lot more, and you'll see a roster review area where you can post the info that I need for a roster review. Before you hit, you know, one of the buttons on the welcome area, you're only going to see about half of what's actually on Discord, right? So you can either hit the frog and agree to the rules, or you can hit the Mega Man frog and say, hey, I'm an asshole, but I will still follow the rules, which is something we added in yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. So I do need to do some scrolling up here because this was somebody again that I had talked to, I had put on the docket, and then we kind of changed the scope of what we were doing. Let's see. Wouldn't mind a little roster review. Morganator, Reaper, that's this one up here, good. I don't have too much info on this one. Just unlocked Ray, working on Leviathan. My assault battles generally cap out at CT2. Exception is with Phoenix and Night Sisters. I haven't really geared them at all. Okay. Yeah, so Godzilla, if you did agree to the rules and you have like the not a dick tag or whatever it is, you should see this. I'll just pop it up really quick for you to see. You should see this area right here on Discord where it says roster reviews, right? You can see, go into the permissions. If you have the decent human being or the lawful tag, then you're able to kind of see this area. If you're not, hit me up afterwards and we'll kind of figure that out together. All right. So let's go from here. Reaper version 2. Kyber 4. 8 million. Let's see what our gear is like. Just unlocked Ray, so I'm assuming Lightspeed bundle for that because nobody just unlocks Ray or chooses to go for Ray. 1, 2, 3. Kind of mind-blowing to be 8 million and only have 3 GL to me, but I also kind of grew up in the GL era, so I was building them as they were coming out. I guess I understand that that's not the case for everybody. Let's see. We have Executor. We obviously don't have Profundity. We're working on Leviathan. Yeah, Chris. Me and Cap, we kind of troll each other's streams all the time. It's tough because there's a 14-hour time difference, but you know that's just how we roll. Oh, all right. We're pretty close to Leviathan. I like that. That's not too bad. Let's just see what our fleets are looking like. Well, time is it right now? 22. Arena page. Yeah. Warlock. I enjoy doing those cards. I just make them as silly as I possibly can. All right, so we're hitting 1 pretty regularly, which is good. It looks like not every day, so these just seem like days where you just might not have been active, or you just couldn't get into the game. So it seems like Executor's doing fine for you, which is nice. You're working on the Leviathan route. You're actually fairly close to it. So that's also something pretty nice. We don't have to worry too much about that. Jedi Master Luke. We're close to Jedi Master Luke. Did you tell me what you're farming? Let's see. Just unlocked Ray. Working on Leviathan. Okay. So did not mention what we're working on. I'm assuming it's Jedi Master Luke. It's interesting reading some of these posts that you guys posted just because it was a week ago. So I see some of the progress from where you guys were really close to things and now have them unlocked instead of just being really close to them. Okay, so I'm assuming we have Malgus. And how close are we? Do we have Fury class? Oh, those are Datacrons. Alright, oh, wait. Okay, so we don't have Fury class yet, but I'm assuming it's pretty close, right? It's going to be in Proving Grounds next month, so you'll be able to get some free shards from that, and you're not going to have to worry too much about that. It's just kind of, it's just something that I wanted to check on. You will know that better than I do. Want to check out your guild, get an idea of where you guys are going to be with this raid. 351. Okay, so I don't always check the guild that people are in, but the reason that I am checking the guild that you are in right now, is basically because I want to get an idea of where you are on this current raid and where your guild can kind of expect to fall on this next raid that's coming out. Okay. We're not in SWG recruiting, but we are only 350 million. And what that tells me is that you're probably not going to have to heavily prioritize Gungans at all, right? I'm the big Gungan guy. You see, I'm trying to get them all to R9. It's something that I'm super excited about. I understand why some people are not super excited about it. I don't think it's something that you necessarily need to be excited about. I think that there's other things that you need to be building towards right now that'll maybe help your guild more, not with the next raid, but the raid following that. And in terms of like raid progression, we don't even know what units can be used outside of the Gungans, so we can't really necessarily talk about that other than to say some Galactic Republic, not all, and some Separatists, but not all. What I'm going to tell you, I need someone to write me a script to just look at this stuff. Don't even have Skiff unlocked. Ooh, that's gross. And Bosch. Okay. What I'm going to tell you is to start slow farming Cursitan. So Cursitan is a Cantina farm, but he is accelerated, right? What I like to do is I like to use signal data with my 3 refreshes a day, and then with my bonus energy I will do any battles on a Cantina farm that I need to do. So something like Cursitan, who I think is on an 8 energy node. Cursitan is on a 16 energy node. I would do all my signal data for the day, and maybe to just do 3 or 4 Cursitan battles. The reason I do things that way is it seems less daunting to me than cutting off signal data for a week to 2 weeks, to kind of just do it a little bit at a time. But I would kind of start putting a tiny bit of focus towards Cursitan. I would be doing 5 battles a day for Skiff. Bosch I think was 7 stars, so you don't have to worry about that. And the reason why is I think you need to finish Jedi Master Luke, right? When you finish Jedi Master Luke, you're going to get the CT3 that you need for Military Might, and you're going to get the CT3 that you need for Ground War. So that's going to give you a little bit more viability. You're doing all of them, just taking you at face value now, though I don't necessarily know how. Do we have Tuscans then? Because you can't be doing this. I'm assuming it's these 2. Okay, yeah. So it looks like it's these 2 assault battles, not just the 1 assault battle that you're not doing super great on right now. And they're not ones that are ROI heavy. So they're not ones that I necessarily worry about until you're past the point where you've built out the rest of your account. I would be doing that slow work towards Jabba, right? So maybe 2 or 3 battles on Cursitan a day, just so it's not so daunting. 5 battles on Skiff a day, and finishing up Jedi Master Luke, which is going to give you Ground War, and it is going to give you Military Might at CT3. So that's going to help you. It's also going to help you with some of the Proving Grounds that you might not be able to do, because Jedi Master Luke is really good at a decent amount of them. It's going to help you in Conquest to be able to build towards those characters a little bit faster, because he is hands down the best Conquest character you can possibly have. And it's going to build you into Jabba, right? Jabba, we just talked about it with Alexander Shiva. Jabba is a huge modding ROI. It's going to give you CT3 for Rebel Roundup, but more importantly, it's going to give you access to the Smuggler's Run 2 event. And that is like, I hate the event. It's like the worst thing in the world. It pisses me off every time I have to do it, even though I can auto it. It should be simmable. But I still do it because it's just an amazing event. You get so much out of it. Where does Leviathan fall on that? I don't know where your Fury class shards are, so I don't know if we're talking 1 month, 2 month, 3 months. I would still be working towards that. I would still be prioritizing that. You are very close to it other than Fury class. Get that out of the way so you don't have to worry about that. And then really gung-ho Jedi Master Luke. And then after that, really gung-ho Jabba. I don't see any other route that makes sense for you at this time. And I think that it's going to help you explode. Full pause. It's going to help you explode your progress going forward, and it's going to help with your modding, and you're going to see a huge return on your investment with those things. There's nothing else to say from there. That's going to run you probably 4 to like 7 months or so. I would say closer to that 7, but you are already getting fleet crystals, so it shouldn't necessarily be the biggest problem in the world. So let's pop this down. Let's see what else we got here. We are at 2, guys. Oh, let's get our timestamp in. I forgot to do one on that last one, which means that I'm going to have to go back later and actually look at it. So what do we got here? This. Okay, hello, excited for the review. It's always a good time when your baby gets called ugly and you learn something new. I try not to call babies ugly, but that is what it is. Top 20 of my fleet shard is mostly executors, 1 or 2 profundity, including my own, and okay, so we have profundity, and about 2 or 3 leviathans. I'm usually top 5 every day, and yes, we do have an in-game fleet shard, but no one really talks in it. To be clear, you don't really have to talk in your in-game fleet shard. My shard has 3 channels, right? And in that, really, it's our general, which nobody talks in, right? March 5th, 218, 2-1. What's really important is a payout channel, so that you can kind of see what's going on. That's all a fleet shard really needs. In terms of assault battles, I'm CT 2 to 3 on all of them except Secrets and Shadows and Fanatical Devotion. I haven't farmed those factions much yet, so they are low gear. However, I am actually currently farming Inquisitors. Good morning, Alan. It was nice chatting with you yesterday. As I just mentioned, I am currently farming Inquisitors, GI Reva. This should be done sometime this month. After that, I plan on getting Jedi Cal ready, as that's my current guild focus. From there, my next farm is either going to be to start slowly chipping away at Gungans or Jabba. I really haven't decided which yet, so excited to hear what you have to say about that. Another big focus for me this year is mods. My Omega score is like 3.1. Captain Amazing, if you're still here, 3.1 mod score, and deciding between Gungans or Gungans and Jabba. On a scale of 1 to 10, how triggered does that make you? I'm very aware of some glaring holes in my roster from much older yet staple core factions. Interested in hearing what you have to say as well. Imp Troopers, Revens. My troopers are shit. It's in terms of spending, I've bought all the Lightspeed bundles, Hyperdrive bundle at the very start, and I'll buy the occasional $10 relic pack on Mondays, maybe every handful of weeks. Okay, so light spender. I don't ask people about their spending because I want to make fun of them. It just gives me an idea of what kind of timelines to expect and what kind of refreshing we're talking about. Let's throw this up. Eiffel Tower Cock Jones. Say that 3 times fast. Kyber 3, 7.4 million GP. We do have Profundity. Inglorious Blasters. I think I've tried to recruit from you guys before, a long time ago. I don't remember. I apologize. I've been trying to amend my ways. 475. Getting the 359 on speeder bike raid, so I think that's the 208 box. Okay. Let's go back to you. Vader, Kenobi, Rey, Kylo Ren. It is crazy to me. I love my Lord Vader. I am not on the Lord Failure train. I am a huge Lord Vader fan. He is, to me, the second most important conquest character, but he's also, there's just so much, there's so much else that gives a much better ROI. So it does blow my mind when I see a fairly early Lord Vader. Let's see what we got going here. Let's see. And to not have Luke, oof, man. Lord Vader, Inquisitors. What are we on? I'm gonna check Cal in a second. We don't need these. We have those. Leviathan, we're pretty far away. We're pretty far on Leia. Alright, let's see. Skiff. But so we're kind of, it looks like we're like ready. Well, Cursatan, but Cursatan, you know, again, same as the guy I last was talking about, Morganator. It just because it makes it easier on my brain, I would recommend maybe doing 2 or 3 battles a day on Cursatan just to build him up kind of slowly without having to feel like you're cutting yourself off from getting signal data, because Jabba is going to be an important thing for you. Let's see, who do I want to look at? Not Gungans. I don't give a shit about your Gungans right now. Drawing a blank. What did I want to look at? Well, let me just look at this since I'm here. How bad are we? Okay. Oh, I know what I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at these Cal requirements. So we have Merrin, Baby Cal, Seer. Apparently I spelled Baby Cal with the wrong letter. Baby Cal's easy because that's an 8 farm. Saw and Tarful. Okay, not Tarf. Oh, it is Tarful. Tarful's. I'm gonna get so confused with that. So this is what I was kind of saying to Alexander Shiva. I'm not on the boat of you have to just go for accelerated things, but because you're not going to get this the next time it comes around, right? Cal, it's gonna, unless you spend a lot of money, it's gonna be impossible for you to get Cal by the next time that we see Cal, which is in 2 weeks. So you're gonna be looking at like that June-July timeline as a bare minimum. I would just slow farm them as they become farmable. Baby Cal is gonna be the easiest. He just became accelerated. He's on an 8 Cantina node, so you're going to knock that out like super quickly. But I wouldn't put any priority towards shards that are not accelerated in this instance because you're so close to acceleration. And because you can't fit the timeline, right? You can't get there. It's not going to happen in those 2 to 3 months. So it makes more sense for you to just slow farm the five battles a day as they become farmable. Except you could do Cal right now if you really wanted to. One thing that I learned over the years is don't ask the opinion of somebody that has an agenda, because they're always going to give you an opinion that fits that agenda, right? So if you go into a mechanic and you tell them, or you ask them, hey, do my brake pads need changing? A lot of the time they're going to tell you yes, whether it's true or not, because you're admitting you don't know the answer and they want to see a sale. I'm not saying all mechanics are shady. I'm just saying that when we're talking about things like statistics, or we're talking about asking questions, you have to kind of consider the source of the answer. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is I clearly have a Road to R9 Gungans graphic up there somewhere. I don't know how this reverses. I'm huge on the Jar Jar train. I have written numerous posts about getting Jar Jar into this game. I am pumped. I've done videos. I've done so much for wanting the Gungans in the game. And I'm telling you, Jabba is just such a better thing for your account right now. Especially when you're talking about wanting to build up your mod score, and especially when you're talking about like wanting to shore up those older teams. Smuggler's Run 2 is going to pay dividends on your account for years and years and years and years to come. It's going to give you CT3 in Rebel Roundup, which I'm assuming you haven't done yet, because I think they all top out. You said it's CT2-ish. CT2 or CT3, but you also said your Imperial Troopers are shit. So I'm assuming you're doing it probably CT1, CT2 right now. I feel like you're going to see a huge return on that. And Captain Amazing in chat is kind of pointing out, and I know it's disappeared on my chat screen because I didn't address it right away, but in the actual YouTube chat, raid currency is important, but Smuggler's Run 2, the ROI is just insane. And raid currency, we don't know how well your guild is going to do. We don't know what old farms are going to be usable. We don't know what new farms you're going to need. I just think that you're not going to get the right ROI out of Gungans that you want to. Now, with that said, if you want the Gungans, I would say just slow farm them, right? You're not going to have them in time for like being able to highly contribute to the raid early, because once each one becomes farmable, it's still going to take you roughly 6 months, maybe a little bit less if you're 4-starring each one and getting those free shards from the event. But there's just so much in the background on your account that you can build up right now where it's going to be largely more important to you. I think that Jabba is the most important farm for you right now. I would say after Jabba, personally, I would be going for Jedi Master Luke. So kind of like the reverse of what I've been telling everybody else today. But after you get Jabba, you can reassess, because we will be getting, we have to know what's going to be usable in the raid in the next 2 months. So come May and we hear more information about the raid, you might decide that you do need to pivot some energy towards Gungans. But we have time before that. Jabba right now is going to be your best option. And I just think that any account at your level that doesn't have Jedi Master Luke is kind of punching below their weight class. It is going to, if you're not already doing it, I just don't see a reason to check. I'm taking you at face value on the CT2, CT3 thing. It is going to solidify your military might to CT3 if you're not already doing it. It is going to solidify your ground war to CT3, which I can't imagine you're doing since, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, we don't have, we just unlocked Jedi Knight Luke, right? I think you're going to see a significant change in how your account runs if you do Jabba into Jedi Master Luke and then go from there. Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, you can work in, because they're only R9 requirements. Yes, there's going to be some Kyrotech. You buy relic packs every couple of weeks, those $10 relic packs. You might want to consider not buying those for a few weeks. And when it next pops up, the Kyrotech Combat Kit, I think it's called the Kyrotech Combat Kit. I'm going to just look it up on my phone because I did do a whole ROI video on it. Let's see, where is it? Kyrotech Combat Kit. So the thing about the Kyrotech Combat Kit is it costs $25, and at its absolute lowest value, it looks like a bad pull because it's a potential kit, but at its absolute lowest value, it gives you the same amount of materials as a function of what's the word? Kyrotech per dollar. as the $5 Kyrotech kits. And at its highest, I think it's like a 300% increase. So if you're really serious about wanting to get Jedi Knight Cal Kestis because of your guild, holding off on relic materials and instead buying one of those in a month, you might find that you can do that without even slowing down any of your other farms, right? Because it's going to be a very Kyrotech heavy investment getting those characters to G12 in the state that your account is right now. One thing that I would say about that Cal Kestis grind is that when you do get Merrin to G12, I would recommend bringing the rest of your Night Sisters also to G12. The reason being is that you'll be able to do it without any of them using any Kyrotech, right? So you'll only be using core gear. And with Merrin at G12 and her Zetas, you should be able to get at least CT1, maybe even CT2. I've seen some crazy things on the Reddit with this team, but I would say at least CT1 with that G12 Night Sisters team, only using core gear outside of the Merrin farm, which you're already doing for Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, right? So I think that that's a short-term farm that you might consider as Merrin starts to get to 7 stars in G12. It's just a nice, quick ROI thing. And then again, you're working on your Inquisitors now, so you'll see that ROI on Fanatical Devotion pretty quickly. Just as a recap, highly, highly, highly recommend Jabba first. Go for it now. Jabba, Jedi Master Luke. The reason that I'm saying Jabba, Jedi Master Luke instead of the reverse is one, you have already highlighted wanting to work on your mod score. But two, you do have Lord Vader, and if you build Conquest correctly, you can use Lord Vader almost as effectively as Jedi Master Luke in terms of cheesing things. It's a little bit iffier, but you can still make do. Jedi Master Luke will make that a lot easier for you. Okay, if you have any questions, you know where to find me on Discord, on our Discord now, which is crazy. That's been blowing up over the last couple of days, and I gotta thank you guys for joining me on this crazy, crazy, crazy journey. So let's move on. We're at 3 right now. We're going towards our 4th one. Let's see what we got going on. All right, let's pull this up. Luna, what time is it, Luna? I was telling somebody yesterday, my wife booked us tickets to see Dune today at 10 a.m. And I made her change the ticket times to noon so that I could get more of these out of the way. So you're welcome, guys. Good news, everyone. Ooh, let me do that. I'm going to butcher this. But Futurama is one of my favorite shows. So let's try. Good news, everyone. Egnards is doing reviews. I have followed some parts of Gerbil's guide, so I went for Home 1 with Ravensclaw for the Fleet Arena, and that has worked like wonders. I'm getting first every day. Awesome. Got invited to the Fleet Shard. Awesome. So it is comfortable. There's only one Executor now, but there will be more in the next month and so forth. Okay. I have all the Lightspeed bundles, and I am ticket farming SLKR now. For teams, I focused on getting Assault Battle teams. Oh, I love you. I have CT1 at all except Inquisitors, and then focused on Conquest as I got nearly 4 million GP. My first hard Conquest, I hit the Gold Crate with Conquest Plus. Proving Grounds, I have 3-starred everything except Malgus and 1-starred Ben. Alright, so it's not too bad. I definitely need a team for Malgus. There are 3 focusers for me at the moment, getting first place in Fleet Arena and Conquest out of the way, hitting Gold Crate each time. Finally finishing the Assault Battle teams. I am in ROTE Guild, so I need to farm Inquisitors to get Reva ready. My question is how to achieve the following on an efficient path. The appropriate below are competing right now. The priorities below are competing right now. Getting Profundity for the Fleet Arena. I could go for Profundity now, or I could go for Negotiator and wait for the new meta fleet and farm that one. I have Marauder at 7 stars. Will it be viable with low gear Bad Batch? I have the Ray Lightspeed bundle, so I'm thinking whether I should get her first before I farm anything else. She will definitely be useful in GAC and GL event, maybe a bit more for Conquest, but I do have Zori Resistance for Conquest, which does pretty well. Inquisitors are great for Conquest and Assault battles, so maybe I should go for them first. I have the required Kairos, 1200 each. Interesting. I'm going to kind of address these things as I look at the .gg because there is a lot to address and I can't really answer the question until I see what's going on here. So let's see what we got going on here. 4 million. We're doing well in Arena. We heard about that. No GLs, but we have the 2 Lightspeed bundles, so we're getting those. And this person posted about 5 or 6 days ago, so get some idea on this progress we're getting here. Okay, we're ticket farming there, profundity, executor. We don't really need executor right now. Jedi Master Luke. Jabba, pretty close here. Okay, jumping around a little bit. I wanna take this person at face value on these assault battles, but I'm assuming the Inquisitors are, yeah, see, we don't have Inquisitors. Everybody today has so far seemed to forget about Inquisitors. So we're not doing CT1 on the Inquisitors assault battle either, but we are doing it on military, or on Secrets and Shadows rather. Let's see our Phoenix. Okay, interesting. What I'm going to tell you, let me just come up here and confirm. Yeah, so you have CT1, you don't have it in Inquisitors either. What I am going to tell you is that your Phoenix team can do CT1 Secrets and Shadows with Captain Rex. Now, you probably, I'm assuming, have not so great mods on these guys. Oh, well, oh yeah. No. You have not so great mods on these guys because until you really start using them with Captain Rex, you don't really focus on the modding for your Phoenix. What I would recommend is remodding for Secrets and Shadows because you do have Phoenix that are capable of doing CT1. Now, if you don't have Hotbot, which sucks, or Hot Utilities, I keep saying Hotbot, but you don't have Hot Utilities, what I used to do is I would make a mod loadout in the game for each of the characters that are my Phoenix, and then I would make a mod loadout for each of the characters that I'm taking from, just so I can kind of quickly switch between them. If you put like your good mods on these guys and do Secrets and Shadows, you'll probably have a much better time. Now, because you do not have GL yet, and you're only 4 million, you might have to pull from multiple characters to do it, and it might be a pain in the ass and you don't want to do it. If you don't, I get it, but I think largely it would be worth it for you to be doing that. To address, well, let me look at our guild. 327. So here's the thing about assault battles. When I tell people to build ROI on their account, I generally leave out Secrets and Shadows and Fanatical Devotion, and we just do the 5 assault battles: Ground War, Rebel Roundup, Forest Moon, Places of Power, and Military Might. Because those 5 give you teams that you're going to largely use pretty early on anyway, so we don't have to necessarily worry about strict ROI, since we're going to get a lot of value out of the characters and the teams themselves. When it comes to Fanatical Devotion and Secrets and Shadows, the ROI really isn't there because you're building so many Chirotech towards getting those things that they're not necessarily worth working towards until you're at a point where you're committing to using those teams, right? So right now in a 325 million guild, you're probably not building towards Reva. Your guild is not over prioritizing that. You're not going to have it anytime soon. It's a team that you're not largely going to use in the short term. So when we talk about that ROI, you're really talking about not seeing any return on investment for literally multiple years, right? It will take you, and this is just napkin math, not actual math, it'll take you like 3, 4, maybe even 5 years to see a return on the Zetas you're using and the Chirotech you're using. Now again, once your guild starts building towards and focusing on Riva, and it's something that's maybe in your grasp within like 6 months, then it's maybe worth doing, because then you're going to use the team and you're not worrying just about strict ROI so much as you're worrying about getting a really nice team, and the Chirotech is an added bonus. So it's not something that I necessarily think people should be working specifically towards. As far as your fleet, Leviathan required Amalgus and it required Fury class. So it required some pretty heavy hitting conquest stuff. And it's a hard fleet for newer players to get to, but it was a very friendly fleet for older and veteran players to work towards, because it required a lot of things that those players already had available to them. So it was kind of like a really tough thing and a really easy thing at the same time. Whatever comes next could very possibly be easier, right? Because we got Lord Vader and then we got Jabba Leia, and Jabba Leia are not as hard as Lord Vader. But it's more likely that it's going to be on par with Leviathan, or harder. And the reason I say that is, the first 6GL that came out, there was no like extra reason to go for them other than the fact that they were really strong, right? So Lord Vader kind of failed in terms of being something people went towards. I don't call him Lord Failure. I don't believe that he's a failure, but when we actually look at the GL numbers and how many have been unlocked, he's somebody that people largely ignore. So Lord Vader kind of failed in that sense because there was nothing else to build around him. When it comes to Fleet Arena, those things don't generally fail because people want to make sure that their fleet income is relatively secure. So I really hesitate to say wait for what's coming next, because that thing that's coming next might be out of your reach, right? And I would say it's like 75-25 that's going to be out of your reach. I'm not a gambling man. I'm not a bettor. I'm not somebody that likes to take that kind of risk, and I only really like to talk about what I know and what's in front of me, especially if what's coming is super, super up in the air. So I wouldn't really count on, hey, I'm just going to go for that next thing. As far as the Malgus tier of Proving Grounds, I am not a Proving Grounds expert. I've never had to do any Proving Grounds, but I have seen that SLKR can do it. I believe you need Thrawn in that lineup, right? There are a lot of resources on Reddit on the different assault battle Proving Ground teams. But that is one of the ones that kind of stands out to me for you, because you're in the middle of ticket farming for SLKR right now. So that should be something that's going to be a little bit easier for you going forward. And SLKR will give you Places of Power CT3, by the way. It'll be a 1-star, which will suck, but it will give it to you. Let's see. Got the Ray LSB. Should I be going for that? Let's see what our Ray ships are looking like. Okay, so we have the ship there. Let's see what we're at for Ray. Jedi Master Luke. Jedi Knight. Okay, let's just do some quick checking out. Don't have Cursitans. Skiff, don't have Skiff. What about Bosch? Well, we do have Bosch, but not a pilot. What about Mon Mothma? Okay. I think we have Luke unlocked. No, we don't. that's the last one that we did. Don't have Hermit Yoda. We do have Wampa. Okay, I think I know what I want you to do here. And I think that this answers pretty much all of your questions, or at least most of your questions. Number one, should you go for Rey? Yes, you absolutely should. You have the Lightspeed bundle. I do not think, this is something I say to people time and time and time again. I think that SLKR and Rey are some of the lowest priority GL for most players. But those Lightspeed bundles put people really, really close to them, and it's just not smart to not go for them. It does largely make sense for you to go after Rey and build towards her. I wouldn't go crazy. I would just kind of, I mean, you already have a 5-star Radis, which is kind of like the slow point. I wouldn't go super, super crazy on it, but I would do it after SLKR. It is going to help you in GAC. It is, she's not the best, but she is pretty good in Conquest, even just for, you know, your Zori team's going to help you with moving ahead. But your Rey team is kind of like, it's kind of like the JML we have at home kind of meme, right? Because with a voluntary Vanguard, she can be very useful at cheesing feats. She's just not as good at it as Jedi Master Luke. And you're super close and already have the fleet ready for it. I would start working towards Hermit Yoda at this point, right? I would be working towards Hermit Yoda to kind of work towards your Jedi Master Luke. I do think Profundity is a good idea for you. You just cannot rely on the next fleet that's coming out. We don't know what it is. We don't know how hard it's going to be. We can only assume it's going to be harder or on par. Otherwise, you're going to anger all the people that have paid for it or gotten it over the last year, the Leviathan. I think that Profundity is a nice choice for you because it's going to build into the same farms that I'm going to tell you to go for. So while you're working on Rey, you should be working on Hermit Yoda. Let me just check your Rolo to see if you have her. You should be working on your Hermit Yoda. I don't know what your Rebel Officer Leia shards look like, so I don't know where you are with her. What I would say is, if you are relatively close, so if you're within like 100 shards of her, just start throwing, I think it's get 2, just start throwing it towards her to get it done. If you aren't close to her, start working on Jabba instead. And the reason why is that Rebel Officer Leia is also in the bounty events. Right, I think I'm gonna just double check that because it's been so long. Someone in chat can correct me while I'm looking it up too. How to farm. It's been so long since I have had to do this. She is, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. If you're further away from her, start working towards Jabba and passively build up some of those shards, okay? Because Jedi Master Luke and Jabba are both really nice ROI characters. And normally I suggest Jedi Master Luke first, but I don't think that there's a wrong way in terms of which one you go for. Working towards Jabba and having to build up his 3 marquees is going to give you Rebel Roundup at CT3. It's going to give you a little bit of time. That event doesn't come around often. It's like once every other month when they remember to do it. But if in the interim you can build up some shards for free instead of wasting your get 2, you might as well do it because you're going to also get largely a really strong ROI character with it anyway. That is going to mean, well, what I should say here is that because you need Jedi Knight Luke for Jabba, you are going to get to a point where you are going to have to use your get 2 a little bit towards that farm, right? So right now, you might want to be saving it. Use your get 1 on Hermit Yoda, but right now you might want to be saving the get 2 to see how close you are to Rebel Officer Leia when you start getting to the point in your Jabba farm where you can't hold off on her anymore if that kind of makes sense to you. And as I'm saying this, because of these things, I'm going to scratch a little bit of what I said earlier. Just do Jabba first. Don't even worry about Jedi Master Luke first. Go for Jabba, get that done. Hold off on your get to spending right now. Build, slow farm the characters for Jabba. You don't have them yet. The Cursitan, the Skiff. I think we saw that you have Bosch. Slow farm them. Work on the relics after you start working on Rey, or after you started finishing Rey. Work on, let's see, Outrider, if we're there yet. Oh, Outrider's close. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that. That's kind of already there. As you start working on Jabba, you have the option of diverting some of that energy towards Profundity. I think it largely is based off of your Rebel Officer farm, right? Because again, we don't really want to waste get to on that, but once we get to the point where we have to do it, where it's holding us back, at that point, you're going to have to start spending towards it to get your Jedi Knight Luke. But I think that those are the three farms that you should seriously be considering, right? Jabba, Profundity, and Jedi Master Luke. Jabba, Profundity, kind of as like a here and there kind of thing. Okay, Jedi Master Luke after that. Rey goes before both of them just because you're already so close to it. I know that this seems kind of scattered, but what it comes down to when I'm doing farms is I look at what my limiting factors are going to be. And, well, let me use my Jar Jar farm as an example, and you can kind of see where I am at with my Jar Jar farm. I took my Bane to Relic 5 because I looked at my materials that I had, and I said to myself, okay, if I take him to Relic 5, the materials that I'm using are not going to limit me further. But if I go past Relic 5, you can see my Relic 6 and up materials. That's where I'm struggling, and that's where I fear I'm going to have trouble with those materials. So even though I want to take Bane to R8, I'm holding off and I'm hoarding. Kind of the same thing for you when it comes to Jedi Master Luke, Jabba and Profundity rather. Start building towards your Jabba. As you start to see you're getting limited by things that are not relics, so maybe like Rolo shards or whatever else, divert your attention towards Profundity. Profundity right now is not a crazy requirement because of how many executors you have there, but it is something that you should be working towards because, well, everybody else is working towards a GL fleet in your fleet chart anyway. But that also brings me to another point when we talk about what's after Leviathan. You're in a newer shard, so it's unrealistic to expect the rest of your shard to be going after Leviathan or what comes after Leviathan. So you're kind of in this cushion area where you don't necessarily have to worry about that. You know, can you go the Negotiator Marauder route? Yes, you can. Will it work with low gear Bad Batch? I'm pretty sure it will. Mine are all R5 except for Omega, so I can't test that for you. But you're going to see a big bump in your GAC viability when you do have a GL level ship, right? So just kind of to recap on what I said earlier, because I've been rambling for the last 20 minutes. Don't worry about the ROI on the Inquisitor event. It's not a big deal. It's not something that you want to worry about right now. Worry about that as your guild starts to prioritize that a little bit more. But right now, start working on the ROI of your account more than anything else. And if you have any other questions, we're on Discord, and hit me up on our chat. We got a lot of people that can help you and a lot of opinions from people outside of myself. Let's keep going. We're going to move on to the next one. We're making decent time. I think we're going to get more of these out of the way today than I thought we were going to get out of the way. Let's see what we got. Alright, let's see. Hey, I'm hoping for some guidance and information. I have just restarted the game after quite a long break, have the Lightspeed bundles, and I'm currently working on rounding out teams and catching up with the ability mats. That sucks, yes. SK Visa, CLS, Jedi Knight Luke are my current targets, as well as the last couple relic levels on Palp for SLKR as soon as ships allow. As far as fleet goes, I hover around 60. I used to be in the Discord server for it, but left when I previously quit. I'm sure I could rejoin if I have a fleet capable of getting me back up. Okay, so that's good to kind of know. Assault battles, I believe I can do tier 1 or 2 on all, apart from Night Sisters and Inquisitors. I don't think I've ever done tier 3 on any, but I may be able to do 1 or 2 if I checked guides. We'll do when they come out. I'm aware I have quite a few things on the go. I'll be focusing them at one time where possible in terms of future teams. I was tentatively starting to shard farm Inquisitors to attempt to get into a better guild for Droid Brains and Riva, but I wouldn't be gearing them for a significant amount of time. I should probably add Executor on my radar, but I doubt I would be able to do better than top 50. Top 20 is very competitive, so it has been pushed down my priorities a little bit. Okay, interesting. The one piece of information that I wish I had is necessarily like what this person's fleet shard looks like in terms of the actual fleets that are being used. So we're kind of in a blind spot for that. Jedi Knight Luke. Going 50s. I would love to see you at least hitting the 50s, because then at least you're getting something. Let's see what our GL gear needed looks like. Kylo, oh, alright, we're very close. Again, this was on 3.5, it's now 3.10, so this was 5 days ago that this was posted. Very close to Jedi Knight Luke. We have that already. Star Killer, Jabba, Executor. I feel like every one of these, all of you guys that came on the same day on Discord, it just, I feel like you guys all are getting the same roster review, just because it's all the same stuff. Let's see. Outrider. Don't even have Outrider. I want to just take a quick look at some of these assault battles just to see what we can shore up here. We're not going to, if you're doing CT1 on most of them, I'm not too worried otherwise. Where's Jupio? We do. Commander Luke Skywalker, Chupio, C-3PO, Han, Chewbacca. At this level, you might be able to do CT3. Definitely CT2. I did CT2 with R2-D2 being my only relic, so this is before Chupio. You can definitely do CT3 here, CT2 here. What I will tell you is, just because you're kind of already working on this, Mon Mothma, I had mentioned this to somebody a few weeks ago that if you replace Chewbacca with Mon Mothma, it makes it a lot easier. They took in like a G11 Mon Mothma with literally no mods and maybe one Zeta and hit auto after doing the event special on all of the characters, and they were able to auto it in one try. So you should, I mean, that's something to seriously consider when you get to that point and when you finish Mon Mothma. It's not super hard to do. You're kind of already there. Places of Power, you'll be able to do CT3 once you get SLKR. You'll have that. That's not going to be a problem for you anymore. The one annoying thing is that Places of Power is going to be a 1-star event until you do it with your Sith. Your Separatist team can probably do CT2 on Forest Moon. It takes a little bit of finagling, but with B2 and all of the TM gain, it's not actually too terribly hard to do with Grievous and his team. I'm just looking at really, really cheap, easy things to kind of keep in mind. These bounty hunters, Bosk lead with Grief, Mando, probably Django Boba. You can do CT2 of Rebel Roundup. It's very difficult to do CT3 with bounty hunters until you get Jabba. Again, CT3s are they're not really a priority, unless you're building something really strong out of it as well. So you're working on Finalizer. Okay. What I am going to assume is that you are in a little bit of a Zeta crunch. You're a newer player. You bought the Lightspeed. Well, not newer, but you haven't been in-game for a long time. You bought the Lightspeed bundles. You're probably going to be crunched for Zetas. So I would not refresh the Finalizer event. I know, and I noticed that obviously you're only 20 carbonate circuit boards away from Emperor Palpatine. Don't refresh it. Take your time. If it takes you 4 weeks, 6 weeks, it doesn't matter. You're going to need those Zetas anyway. So it's not worth the crystal expenditures. Let's see. We have Dash, Noposh, Skiff, Quercetan. Ships. Don't have that yet, that's fine. Right, and we don't have Outrider. Okay, so most people, I'm finding today I'm giving opposite advice. Most people I tell to go for Executor first. Based on the farms that you're currently doing, the Executor C route, which I love, I think it's a great route to go for people who are earlier in the game. I don't see it as necessarily the best route forward, for you. I just want to check one more thing. Ooh, yeah, 5, okay. I'm going to be honest with you, you get like 1 or 2 more GLs, you'll be able to get into a much better guild, even without Inquisitors. You're in like a 270 guild, you could probably be getting into a 380 to 400 guild, even without Inquisitors, in a couple of months. Maybe not right this second. If you go to one of the recruiting servers, you might get lucky. Sometimes people are desperate. I've brought in guys who were way below what I normally recruit because I was just in a bind, and those people ended up just being good people, and we've kept them. Perfect. Perfect. So what I really think you need to do is you need to prioritize profundity, okay? I think that you're in a shard that is pretty cooperative. You've kind of mentioned, the people in the shard chat, even though you're not currently communicating with them. So it's very likely you will be able to get back into that without too much problems. I really would like to see you getting fleet crystals, and profundity should allow you to be able to do that. Now, I don't know what your fleet shard looks like because you didn't tell me. But what I will tell you is that profundity can beat Leviathan. The strategies are kind of a pain in the ass for like a regular Leviathan match. But it is worth doing, and it's going to be hard for you to get Malgus and work towards Leviathan right now anyway, so it's not really an option for you. Again, I mentioned this earlier in the stream. A lot of people on our Discord have mentioned to me, I have not looked into this, but if you put Mark 6 in a profundity lineup in the opening, it makes it a lot easier to counter Leviathans. And from what I understand it, is that Leviathan and their ships are like either hardcore coded to hit Mark 6 or at least to prioritize Mark 6, which makes it harder for them to gain TM. I am not an expert on that strategy. If you pop on our Discord, people will explain it to you. They'll send you videos. I'm sure you can find a Bit Dynasty video on it somewhere. But it's something to largely consider to remain competitive in the short term. Definitely be going for profundity. You need to start Outrider now. You haven't even started it. I would even go so far as to say refresh it 1 time a day right now so that you can start working towards that sooner. Yes, finish Kylo, right? You're there already. I think that this is one instance where I would recommend prioritizing profundity before Ray, even though you have the Lightspeed bundle. I think that fleet crystals are going to be a much, much, much more productive resource for you than having a Ray is going to be, and you need to put some semblance of priority towards doing that. It will largely help you so much. I don't know if you'll need to go immediately to 7 stars because I don't know what your fleet chart looks like. You didn't mention it. But you probably will have to go at least to 5 stars. And even if that only gets you into the top 20, you're looking at 100 shards a day, 100 crystals a day versus 0 crystals a day, right? But once you get that fleet shored up, you should be able to hit that top 10. You don't have Mark 6 unlocked right now. That's a secondary option once you kind of look that up and decide if that's going to be the right option for you. But profundity, yes. You need to be doing profundity. You need to be working on it pretty much immediately after SLKR. In terms of what to do after profundity, I mean, this is what I've been saying to people all day, right? You're so close to Jedi Knight Luke that it really is a question of, do you want to do Jedi Master Luke or do you want to do Jabba first? Based off where you are in the game, I think the answer to that depends largely on how competitive you want to be in Conquest versus PvP. So if you really want to get shards of new characters, go Jedi Master Luke first. If you really want to shore up your GAC playing, right, and you really want to participate in PvP more, go for Jabba first. Okay, Jedi Master Luke will finish up your military might and will finish up your ground war to CT3. Jabba will finish up your rebel roundup. And quite honestly, with Jedi Knight Luke and with Hermit Yoda, you can sneak by in ground war as well without Jedi Master Luke. You don't need him. You just need a super, 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 super fast Jedi Knight Luke as the super, super, super slow Jedi Knight Luke as the lead, and a super fast Hermit Yoda. It probably will take some trial and error. I didn't look at your Revan. You'll probably want Revan to be able to do that. I don't think it's necessarily a priority for you right now. Pressing all these buttons. This button's going everywhere. Do we have Revan? Oh, we do. So with Revan, maybe a little higher relic level, but you should be able to do it here. But the point is that ground war you should be able to do whether you go for Jabba or whether you go for Jedi Master Luke. Jedi Master Luke, more of a PvE focus. Jabba, more of a PvP focus. But you need to ignore Inquisitors right now, and you need to be going for profundity. It's the only answer for you right now. And again, once you do that, you're gonna find that your gameplay is going to significantly speed up. Once you start getting towards the end of that profundity farm as well, that's when you start reaching back out to your fleet shard. It's kind of like LinkedIn, right? You reach out to your friend who you used to know and be like, hey, how you doing? Oh, it's great. Hey, I know I can't get to this right now, but I'm really close. Can I get back into the fleet shard? It shouldn't be a problem for you. I see that as your roadmap for like the next 6 to 8 months, right? Reassess from there. I don't think Inquisitors are a priority. I do think that once you have SLKR and maybe Profundity, you'll be able to find a much better guild than where you're at. All you have to do is go to the recruitment servers, right? Which one? I think the event server has a recruiting spot. I think Arnold's server has a recruiting spot. There's another one that I used to use, Darth Vapor's recruitment. If you just say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, as long as you're reasonable, you'll probably get an answer from somebody who's like, hey, you know what? We just happen to have this slot open, and we'd love to have you as long as you get your 600 tickets per day. So that's just food for thought for now. All right, let's move on. Pop in a Discord. What are we at? Number 6? Oh my god. We're getting there. We're breaking through this backlog. 128. Maybe we'll get one that's different. I would like one that isn't like all the same stuff. Hello everyone, I'm in serious need of some roster guidance as I quit the game for 3 years. Well, oh shit, well, that's gonna be fun. I don't know if they have a fleet shard, but the shard is 5 years old, so my guess is yes. I have the main Lightspeed bundles for SLKR and Ray, but decided not to get the SK one as I'm already spread too thin. Probably a good idea when we're talking about the $50 that it'll cost you to do that, and again, just needing all this stuff to be done. Current farm, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Just side farm Ewoks and Chewpio for C-3PO. Okay, side farming Zori for Rey. You don't really need Zori for Rey, but okay. I mean, she is great for that faction, for the secondary team. Side farming C-Rex for a good Phoenix team. I'm also Katina farming Set at 4 stars, and next is Sith Marauder. I just stopped my Darth Malik grind in order to finish my SLKR journey and save the Zetas and gear for him. I have no idea where to go from here. I know this. I need to finish SLKR, and from there I'm kind of lost. I would love to have a good CLS team as I have him unlocked as well as Chewie and Han. The reason I'm farming Ewoks and Chewpio, but I also know that there might be better investments. I get no crystals from Fleet, which sucks. So would love for that to change. I managed to get the second best crate in Medium Conquest, but I haven't unlocked PG. Emil, are you here? I'm only asking because I know you were asking me about the farm earlier, or you were asking me about the stream and the stream time earlier. So I'm curious. Let's pop this in. Edring, good morning, man. How's it going? I know I stream pretty early in the mornings. I am a morning person. If I thought anyone would watch me, I would be streaming at 6 in the morning. But people already get grumpy around brunch time and get mad at me and wonder why I'm on this early. But it's the only time that I can get any significant amount of stream in here. So this is a older shard. I want to say, again, veteran player, quit for a long time, so we'll just call them a newer player for our purposes. $3.2 million. See what we got going on for ships. I feel that I have a lot of viewers in like the West Coast where it's a little early for them, and then surprisingly I got a lot of people in Australia, a few in Germany. So it's kind of cool having people to talk to all over the world. That's one of my favorite things to do on YouTube, is to look at the analytics of who's watched the video and where they're from. And just seeing like a little bit of a global presence there. It's neat to me. Okay, Jedi Knight, Sith Empire, Jedi Knight Luke, Jabba, Killer, Profundity. Okay, now I did not get any assault battle viability here, so we're kind of going in blind here. I just want to check some of the usual suspects. Okay, probably not. Probably not, but I could see it possible. But again, places of power you will get. So places of power, once you do have Kylo Ren, it'll be it'll be something that you have to do every month because it'll be 1 star, but it'll be largely worth it. Rebel Roundup, you're probably doing CT1, CT2, depending on modding with what you have here. I can make a case for both of them, but it's a lot of restarting, so I would say CT1 is a definite. CT2 not necessarily. Let's see what those Phoenix are looking like. Oh, thank you. Alon, I do that a lot. You guys got to keep me honest here in terms of looking at people's.gg's because I keep popping back and forth between these things and it's still early. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. So when I do dumb shit like that, I need you guys to like tell me that I haven't done that or I haven't gone where I'm supposed to be. C-Rex. C-Rex will give you the Night Sisters one. I don't really know if it's worth it for you right now to be going for C-Rex. I agree, obviously, with Kylo Ren. I agree with getting Chew-PO and C-3PO to finish out your CLS team. Let's see what these Resistance are looking like. I know you bought the Lightspeed bundles, but I'm wondering where Zori is. It's only 3 stars. Yeah, I mean, at low gear, I haven't used him much because I built him out pretty quickly. If you can do CT1 of the Night Sisters with C-Rex at low gear without spending too much Kyrotech, I can see that being worth it. I just feel like there's so much that needs to get done on this account right now that frivolously spending Kyrotech is not the smartest thing in the cards. The question is, without really knowing your fleet shard, whether Profundity or Executor. Good morning, Kenobi. I had to check when I looked at your thing. It said John Kenobi because I find that when I type in my lists for roster reviews that I always get auto-corrected by my stupid computer on my phone. And I was like, wait a second, that can't be right. Yeah, I will say that the C-Rex team is amazing. I do love them. I've been using them to take out Riva in JC. I've been using them to take out, if there's no Riva, to take out double Omicron Night Sister teams, which has been a lot of fun to do, but you can't do it on auto because you have to make sure certain things happen if there's too many Omicrons. All right, let's check this out. Let's see what we got here. I want to check a few things. Skiff. Bosch. Quercetan. What about? Got Padme. Let's see. I wish I could just type in Ewok and it would just bring up all my Ewoks. See our Jedi. Okay. Mothma, not even there yet. Rebel Officer Leia. So as I said to somebody else, I would be prioritizing your GE, not your G2. When the bounty event comes around, prioritize Rebel Officer Leia. 100% Hermit. Okay. To build towards that. dash. Don't even have dash. Ooh, it's going to be a long road. A long, long road. Okay, let's just double check Discord. Kylo Ren first, yes. Ewoks for C-3PO, yes. Chupio, where is our Chupio right now? Type in Chupio, like that's gonna come up. 3PO and Chewie, okay, I'm gonna say yes. That's gonna help you a lot with military might. Alan, that's awesome. A lot of guilds aren't willing to do that because it messes with people that don't need it. But to be able to get those shards cheaper is definitely a huge plus. 368 million. It's probably very unlikely that this person is in a position where that's happening. 3 point whatever million. I keep going back and forth on what to do here, which is why I'm not stalling for time. There's a few paths that I see, but without the information on the fleet, there is a little bit of up in the air with it. You don't really need Set and Sith Marauder right now. They're not. I wouldn't waste what you could be using on signal data on that at all. Oh, I know what I wanted to look at. I want to see where our Radis is at. We don't have Radis unlocked. Let's see. Raise Millennium Falcon. Pose Starfighter. Resistance. Houndstooth. Ahsoka. Okay. Alright, so here's the thing. Yes, you are bringing yourself a little bit thin here. Finish SLKR. I've said this to people before. Do Rey, but do it with little priority, right? So what that means is build out the relics that you're going to need for her, but slow farm the ship because you're going to be in this severe Zeta crunch. So don't refresh the ship. Just let the ship kind of happen naturally. And once the ship is done, then you can finish Rey. When you're done with the relics for Rey outside of the ship itself, then move on to the next thing so that you can kind of build yourself further. I would say that you should probably go for Profundity over Executor. Executor, you're closer, absolutely. Profundity is going to kind of build you into that Luke Jabba funnel, which is where you want to be right now as like a 3.6 million player and as somebody who is going to be looking to do things like Proving Grounds and looking to do things like Conquest in the very near future. I think that for you personally, for a lot of people, you can kind of go up in the air. I think for you personally, do Profundity before, but then do Jedi Master Luke over Jabba. Jedi Master Luke will help you finish out that CLS team, and the CLS team that you want to build out anyway, you're already working on Chupio. It's going to give you that Military Might CT3, and it's going to give you that Ground War CT3 as well, which is going to kind of help with the ROI on the account. It's going to help you with Conquest. It's going to help you with Proving Grounds. It is going to help you with PvP and TW. It's just going to put you in largely a much nicer position. Just like I've literally said to I need a button for this. After Jedi Master Luke, do Jabba. It's going to give you the CT3 in Rebel Roundup. It's going to give you the Smuggler's Run 2 event, and for someone that's going to be really hurting for Zetas going forward, not Zetas, for mods going further, just because you're unlocking all of these things so quickly, that Smuggler's Run 2 event is going to help you greatly. I see a path with Executor and working on that, and you can go the Executor and C route. I like that route for people who are much earlier in the game, and I think for where you are in the game, you're not going to see as much of a return on investment as you would like to, because you're already going to be getting places of power at CT3. Jabba is going to give you the Rebel Roundup that you need, and then the only other thing really is Forest Moon, right? And that's the easiest way to do that, is with Imperial troopers, and you're nowhere near them right now. That's something I would start to consider as you start to finish up the farms that I've isolated. I don't know the exact team, I'm sure you can look it up, but I know there's a way to do Forest Moon super, super, super low gear using Gar Saxon and Imperial Super Commando. I think is like the three normal troopers, Veer, Stark, Piet, and then those two. But I did this event so long ago that I'm only familiar with it from seeing people post about it on Reddit. I'm not familiar about doing it myself. So again, finish up SLKR. Yes, finish up C3PO. Yes, do QPO. I wouldn't do any shards to crystals towards it. I would just do your 5 battles a day. It'll happen quick enough for you. Finish up Rey. Do not prioritize that ship. Do it the slow route. Let that happen naturally every 2 weeks so that you can kind of build out. Profundity is where you kind of want to start after that. And I'm just going to mention this. It is an older shard. You're probably going to have a lot of Profundities and Leviathans. With the right investment, Profundity can beat Leviathan. With Mark 6, you can do it a little bit easier, but that's something that you're gonna need to look up a video for, or pop on our Discord, and that will kind of get you where you need to be. Hydrum, I would say Jabba, 100% Jabba. I will fight anybody who tells me Leia over Jabba in that situation. Not really fight them. I'm a pacifist. I try not to fight people. I try not to fight people makes it sound like I do fight people, just not often. I haven't been in a fight since high school. Leia does not give you any ROI. We're at past the point of ROI on her raid, so there's nothing that you're getting from that. Endor Escalation 3 sucks. It's nice for free, right? So if you built Leia for free, sure, it's nice. But it's not an event that's ever worth working towards. Whereas Jabba is going to give you a nice assault battle. He's going to give you PvP viability. Jabba does work really well in Conquest. Leia does too, and it gives you the same, no UFUs, no Sith Jedi. But Smuggler's Run 2 is just super, 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 super important for players going forward, if you really want to take your modding seriously. As for Bo-Katan, here's what I'm going to tell you. Bo-Katan is a luxury farm. She's great. I am not going to discount the fact that she is an amazing character. She can take out Lord Vader. She does it very easily. She doesn't even need her Datacrons to do it easily. When Gungans were announced, I didn't stop, but effectively very much slowed down my Bo-Katan farm, because Bo-Katan doesn't give me anything, right? Bo-Katan is going to help me with GAC and killing Lord Vader's, but there's no acquisition, there's no resource acquisition attached to it. Whereas something like Gungans, there is going to be a heavy resource acquisition attached to it. Now, granted, we do have Mandalore coming out too, but we still don't even know anything about Mandalore. We just know, oh, it's coming. We don't even know what characters to use, but probably these ones maybe. The other thing with Bo-Katan is that because the event comes around every month, it's not something that you have to worry too much about. I'm 11.4 million GP, and I'm not worried about her at all. She's great. I'm going to be excited for getting her when it comes down to it, right? When I finish my Gungans, yes, I will finish my Bo-Katan. But I just see her as a heavy luxury for most players as opposed to like a mandatory farm, right? So I would farm her after you have all of your other ducks in a row, at least right now. But with that said, I am slow farming her shards. So I am doing, no refreshes, just 5 a day, so that I am ready when the less time restrictive stuff is done. Okay. You guys are distracting me from trying to get as many of these done today as I can. See, 1:49. We're almost at 2 hours. Holy shit. All right, Fraxel. Let's see what we got here. And guys, please yell at me if I forget to turn the correct resources on. Hello there, Almighty Father. A little weird, but okay. Let's actually pull that up too, because I'm not reading yet because I'm just trying to put this in the right window. There we go. I just finished my GL Ray and SLKR farm with some Zetas to go for the first order. I was wondering what would be my next step. I plan to finish working on my Sith Empire or the GG squad, then go for gas and a GL after that. Glow, Jabba, JMK. Additional info, I'm able to hit top 5 in fleet every day with my profundity. And receive 140 crystals every day from my GAC payout. Awesome. Okay, so I got all the information I need. Freddie, hop on our Discord. If you go on the YouTube, there the description has our Discord. Pop in, agree to the rules, or at least say I'm a dick, but I still begrudgingly agree to the rules. You'll get a different tag for either one. And there's a whole roster review section that you can pop into. We've got a huge amount of them that we're trying to get through today because we got a ton last week. But I try to do as many as I can each Sunday. Okay, let's pop this in. Let's see what we got. Let's not forget to turn .gg on. Jedi Master Luke, Rey, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. So here I think we said, oh, we just finished those two. Okay. We have Profundity, which is really nice. Yeah, Bug. So Lady Geek mentioned it in chat like 2 days ago as a joke. I think as a joke. She was like, is there a tag where we could say like that we're actually a dick and not a good person? Because the tag is decent human being. And I ran with it. I thought it was really funny. So I decided to create a new tag for it that is basically, yes, I'm a dick, but I still agree to follow the rules. So that's on the welcome page. You couldn't figure it out. So there she is. So it's a toggle, actually. What you have to do is you have to go to the welcome page and you have to click on the little Mega Man frog and pop that one on, and it'll change your tag to the other one instead of having the first one. All right, so let's see where we're at with this. Oh, let me go back up to this because somebody talked in this channel, and now I have to go through again because I'm a dummy. Where is this one? Oh my god. There we go. Okay. 5.8 million. Yeah. Freddie, I probably won't be able to get to it today, but I will add it to my list. And we try to get them done as much as possible. Alright, so we're mostly doing ones. Okay, good. We have the profundity. Excellent. So yeah, that's a new feature. We're always coming up with new things. to just make Discord more fun. Jabba Executor. Leia. Okay. Just wonder where we're at with Malagus. No Malagus yet. Skiff. Bosch. I always type Skiff and then I type in Lando as if they're not the same thing. We obviously don't have no Mark 6 yet. Did I check this guild? 255. Oh, wow. You could definitely be in a higher guild. I'm telling you that right now. I see you in a 350 to a 400 guild. Just post on one of the recruitment channels and someone will snatch you up. It might take a day or two because it's not the most amazing account, but somebody will absolutely do this. I don't see any assault battle viability listed here, so we're just going to take a quick check. Rebel Roundup is CT1 or CT2. Can definitely do CT2, but it is a pain in the ass to do it that way. Let's do CR Imperial Troopers. These Imperial Troopers, just as they are, you can probably do Forest Moon at least CT2, maybe even CT3, as long as you remod, right? If you put all your fastest mods on them, you could almost definitely do CT3 with your G12s and your Piet. You obviously have your SLKR, so places of power should not be an issue for you. Military might, hands down, CT3. And then Grand War, you should have CT3 as well, just because you have Jedi Master Luke and Jedi Knight Luke already unlocked. Now, you kind of mentioned your next GLs as Glow, Jabber, JMK. I'm going to tell you that Glow has almost no ROI behind her. I don't recommend her. I see her as a very low priority GL for many people. JMK also I see as a very low priority GL. Kind of like, not lowest, kind of like towards, like if we were to scale him 1 to 10 in terms of priority, I would say he's like a 5, like a 4 to a 5. He is a great GL. He is awesome. Like, I use him so much in Conquest as my, like, screw you, I don't even want to deal with you team. But we're still at a point where we want to think a little bit about our ROI. You're almost out of the woods there, but you're not quite out of the woods there. I think Jabba has to be your next GL with where you are right now. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to go for Jabba next, right? Because I see you have some smaller farms that you want to go for. But in terms of next GL, it needs to be Jabba. And yes, he's great in Conquest. I use him all the time. Like I said, I use him as my like, screw you, I don't want to like deal with you teams. When I fight Old Republic, when I fight Mandalorians, I throw in JMK Cat and I just take care of it. But there's just, Jabba provides so much for you right now, and you already have Jedi Knight Luke, that really needs to be the direction that you're going to if you want to compete a little bit better or a little bit more. Gas and GL. Let's see, what does our gas look like? Galactic Republic. Okay, so we need to get Kenobi a little higher. And I think it's Shakti for the other slot. Separatists. Okay. You know, with where your Separatists are, I can definitely see you going for gas. 100%. It's not going to take you that much time to go for him right now. And he does do really well in a Jedi team before you get all of your, like, 501st to relics. He's not going to be amazing without relic 501st, but even at G12, you know, if he's at relics, you're going to do pretty well. So yeah, I can definitely make I can definitely make a case for doing gas first. Sith Empire. I think what I would do if you want to break this up in terms of GLs and everything is I would do gas now, then I would do Jabba, right? And then I would do Sith Empire. I would do gas, Jabba, Sith Empire. And you could slow farm these Jabba requirements because they're accelerated. They're not going to limit you in any way, shape, or form. But I think I would do Sith Empire after that rather than before that. Where to go from there? Okay, Star Killer, Executor. I don't give a shit about Executor right now. Leviathan. Something you might want to consider. So if you go the gas, Jabba, Sith Empire route, you might want to consider going for a... I don't know what that sound was. That was something. What the hell was that? That was like coming out of here. Did anybody else hear that? Is that just me? Did that not like this crazy like voice from God thing? Am I high? Holy shit. Okay, back on track. Something you might want to consider if you're going the gas Jabba Sith Empire route is Executor next. And I know people in the comments here were like, no, that's stupid. Hear me out. You're pretty close to Executor. It's not going to take you any degree of crazy amount of time to do it. It is going to help you in GAC. And you don't have to prioritize refreshing the event, right? So it's not something where you'd have to be like, oh man, I have to get it to 7 stars. It's something that you can have in the background and go from there and just build those shards for free afterwards. The reason I suggest that is your account isn't necessarily in the spot where it needs to worry about all of the newest things, but none of these things are going to take you a crazy amount of time. And by the time you finish those 4 things, we'll know what's going on with like the next fleet. We'll probably know what's going on. We'll probably know what's going on with the next GL that's coming out, and you'll be able to make an educated decision about Leviathan. Because I see Leviathan as something that might be a smart move for you if you're working your Sith Empire. But you obviously are going to need to work on the Sith Empire ships. You're going to have to work on getting Malgus. You're going to have to work on getting the Fury class. That's going to take you time, a lot of time. And stalling a little bit with Executor will help you. It won't cause you too many problems. It won't take you that long. And it'll allow you to kind of make that educated guess later on. Do me a favor, private message me. I think maybe you just did. I don't know. Somebody did. If you're Curly, I'm not sure if you are. Oh no, that's somebody else that I have to answer anyway. Private message me on Discord, and I'll look into it once we're done. All right. It's supposed to toggle on and off, but I'll look into that for you. Once I've finished up here. Basically what it is it's a toggle. So if you react to one and it's not on, it won't go on. Like you have to actually react and it be active. If you hit both of them, it'll switch to the other one. But private message me. We'll look at it once we're done here. So let's move on, shall we? Let's see what we got going on here. 2 hours. 3:10. I feel like I'm not even like breaking into this list at all of all of these things that need to get done. All right, let's see. I'm glad I did all my TB stuff because there is no way that I would have. There's no way I would have gotten this all done. Hey, Egnards, came here from Reddit. Thanks for any help direction you can provide when you are able. Here was my comment. I hate ships, but question if I'm finishing up relic levels. But question, comma, if I'm finishing up relic levels for Executor, should I be working on Profundity 2? I'm back from a couple of year hiatus from the game with no GL level ships, 7 million GP, LSB purchases to try and catch up. No plans to scrap this account and start a new one as I started playing in 2015. 2016, have all requirements but add rat at 7-star and at least G12. My fleet arena is all Executor, Profundity, and Leviathan, so I'm doubtful that I'll be able to break in the top 20 anytime soon. The main thought I had was being able to continue to move up the ranks and be competitive in GAC, since that's my main source of crystal income right now. Salt battles. Oh, good. So you can answer questions. Love it. I love when people are like on, because then I hate that there's a lag, but we get to see it. Okay, so we have some good assault battle viability. Okay, good. They're all pretty much where they need to be. We don't have to worry too much about anything. Okay. My main farm gear right now outside of Executors, Inquisitors to help my guild with getting Reva shards. Also working on C-Rex and Zori farming for GAC. I also have SK waiting on gear, but holding because I don't have the Omicrons for GAC yet. I'm here for efficiency. While I love Star Wars and have favorite characters, I'd rather build my roster to be competitive. We're cut from the same cloth, man. I hate Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, but in-game he is dope as hell. Yes, I just said dope as hell. And I went for him because he's just that good. So let's see what we got. Now, first of all, to kind of address here, when you finish Executor, talk to your fleet shard. I don't know what your plan is in terms of getting it to 7-star or not right away, but Executor can beat Profundity at 5 stars all the way up to 7 stars, and Executor can beat Leviathan while 7 stars. And I think you just need some extra investment into IG-88 or whatever, whoever ship it is. I think it's IG-88. There are a lot of videos on being able to do that. It might be worth it for you to do. Once you get that Executor, touch base with your fleet shard to see how open they are, right? Some of them are super open. And as an old shards generally have a lot of people that have quit. And it doesn't matter if you have an active top 20. What I find in my shard is there's like 3 people at a bunch of payouts, and then there's a bunch of payouts that are open, right? So there might be an open payout slot where that isn't bad for you. I would look into that once you kind of get Executor. As for whether Profundity is worth it, I really rely on my ships to win GAC. So I do think that for GAC levels, Profundity is very helpful, and I do think that it is stronger than Executor for beating Leviathans. They can both do it with the right loadouts and the right lineups. What I would say is that if you do want to go for Profundity next, don't bring Executor up, right? If you want to bring Profundity next, save those for Profundity. It'll be a better investment for you. You might consider bringing Executor to 5 stars, maybe over the course of like a month or 2, because at 5 stars it will be able to kind of trudge through through some of the executors. It will be able to trudge through all of the profundities. But if you want to do profundity next, then save the crystals for that. Let's see what we got. Jedi Master Luke, Kenobi, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Okay, what's our Outrider look like? Outrider, 4 stars. You should probably be doing 5 battles on that a day at this point, right? If that is a goal of yours, if that's something that you want to do, let's check out our Inquisitors just because you happen to mention them as being a guild focus. I don't know why I hit Imperial Troopers instead of Inquisitors. That was silly of me. Okay. Alright. That's not terrible. And once you get them all at 7 stars, you know, and you start building them just slightly, you should be able to get the CT1 there too, so that you're not necessarily building ROI, right? But if your guild is wanting you to do that, then you have to do it anyway. So you might as well be getting some Chirotech from it. Let's see where we're at here. Man, I knew, like, going in today, I was like, today's going to be the day of Jabba. Today is Jabba Day. GMP needed. Let's just, we do have gas. I'm assuming, well, we have to have Padme if we have gas. We have that, obviously, because we did this. Yeah, you know, if that's your big focus right now for the guild, that's fine. That's completely fine. You'll be able to get the ROI on those characters because you'll be using them once you get Grand Inquisitor, and you'll be thankful once you have Third Sister. She is amazing. She does great in every game mode. Once you have her, it's just this beautiful change in your gameplay. Obviously, it sucks because it's very heavily Chirotech dependent to do. But I do understand the guild focus and people in a guild wanting you to do that, so I get that. Again, after Executor, you know, with Profundity being something that you're wondering about, save the crystals for Profundity. But seriously consider Jabba. You know, we've talked about this a lot on stream today. I don't know how long you have been on the stream today and how many times you've listened to me say it today. But you're talking about GAC being your main source of income and really needing to stay competitive there. That means you need mods, right? And that means that you need good modding. And this is going to be your heaviest modding event. And he's great in GAC. Now, obviously, right now with the Datacrons that we have, it's a little bit different, and you can't really like throw them on defense unless you're me and do it anyway. But those Datacrons are going to go away, and Jabba's going to get new Datacrons, and he's going to kick ass. Again, he already does on offense anyway. But the modding is the most important thing. Yeah, so see, you've heard me say it all day. I could go through, I'm sure, looking at my, like, I have this list. Like, this is a big freaking list. I could go through them all, and I'm sure that almost all of them are Jabba, 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 Jabba. It's just something that's going to be really, really important for you. I would say go for... What I would say is once you get Executor, talk to your fleet chart. See how nice they are. Reach out to them. See how accommodating they are. See what kind of shard it is. If they are more on the accommodating route, where they'll let you in easily, go for Profundity, because it's going to make your day way less miserable having to climb with that instead of Executor. People still climb with Profundity in my shard, right? There's like 4 or 5 people that still do it, and my shard's been around forever. If they're less receptive and it's going to be more of a slog and you're going to have to like put in your licks, then go for Jabba first. So I think it comes down to profundity in Java, profundity if you're able to focus fleets and you just don't want to hate yourself every day doing those 5 battles. Java, if you really are, you know what, I'm getting my crystals from GAC. I need to continue getting my crystals from GAC. That's kind of the flip-flop that you have going on here on what you need to be doing. Obviously, Inquisitors are a main focus for you right now, so it's going to take some time because Inquisitors are very Chirotech heavy. So just on the Inquisitors, you're looking at, you know, depending on if you're spending on the Chirotech bundles. I am a big proponent of the Chirotech combat kit because the ROI is really nice if you are a spender. At its lowest pull, it's 100% the value of the $5 weeklies. At its highest pull, it's like 300% higher. That might be a consideration for somebody as a spender without having to invest too much to get these Inquisitors done, maybe just a little bit. We'll have I can't read chat and talk at the same time. It just screws with me. I can't read and talk. I think that you will see that going a little bit faster that way. And people really hate Inquisitors. I kind of like them once you get Grand Inquisitor, and once you get Riva, she transforms that team. And Dur, yeah, man, like if you're unlocking, what the hell is that sound? It's like coming from my monitor. I gotta figure that out later. That is crazy. That's not me, guys, I promise. Well, it is me, but I don't know what it's coming from. To take a little break to kind of build her up, that makes sense. But, you know, again, that's where you should be going, and that's going to take you a couple of months to do. Andrew, struggling in Smuggler's Run. This is what I do in Smuggler's Run. I do Java, Skiff, Bosch, Quercetan, and actually Chewbacca, right? Now, all of mine are at R8 except Chewbacca, who's R6. But I know people doing this at R5 as well with good modding. So I am using a laptop, but it's plugged in. I don't know. I'm gonna research it after this. I'm like, what is this? Whatever. I'll figure it out. What I do is I manual it until Quercetan taunts, because sometimes Chewbacca dies early and then the whole thing falls apart. But once Quercetan taunts, I just put it on auto, and I'd say about 80% of the time, once Quercetan taunts and it's on auto, I win. Something to consider. I do have a video on it, and it's very quick. It takes like 3 minutes to watch. So that's the way that I do Smuggler's Run too, and it might be an option. It might be an option for you. As far as my dinner bell, I have no idea what the hell that is. I have no other windows open other than the YouTube analytics and .gg. I think my computer is just kind of screwing with me at this point for the hell of it. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Man, oh, there we go. Man, people talk in this channel a lot, and I'm like, guys, it makes it so much harder for me to read these out. Let's just put a timestamp here. 2:16:50. Okay. Before I read this, I just want to check my email real quick so that I know the exact time that I'm going to this movie, so that I can accommodate accordingly. Because I do not want to be late for Dune. Exactly noon. We saw Imaginary yesterday. It sucked. Don't go see Imaginary. It was awful. It was not good. All right, Cerokurn, thanks for doing this. No rush. It seems you have many to do. My roster's a bit strange. I'm an old player that played at endgame level until I stopped at the release of Relics. I resumed playing a bit after LV was released, so I have some odd gaps, like not having Cam or Malevolence. Cam is shit, and you don't need him. It's good to get to him because he will eventually be a requirement for something, but it's not the biggest thing in the world. Fleet Arena is all Leviathans. I can climb as long as I have time. I use Chimera. There is no Fleet Discord. I'm honestly really supplied that there's no Fleet Discord if you have an old shard. I would urge looking in and reaching out to people in game, because the older shards are the ones that do have fleet shards. It's the newer ones where you might have to actually start one. I do know that there are some fleet shards that do not have them. So if that is the case, that is the case. There's nothing you can do about it. But I would really, really, really be surprised. Salt Battle, CT3 sim on all except for Secrets and Shadows, where I have CT1. Finishing up Jedi Knight Cal, extra crystals are going towards 7-starring Leviathan. Okay, good. We'll be farming Gungans as they become available, but uncertain of what to prioritize in the meantime. I'm open to whatever. How highly do you value 100% efficiency? I'm probably looking to make a guild switch soon. Score about 10.5 in the raid. If you happen to know a guild that might be appropriate for me, I'd be interested. Speaking on guilds, I am a part of an alliance of guilds. Awakened Alliance. I know alliances get a bad reputation a lot of the time. The one reason that I stick with Awakened is because we don't do the guild switching thing where you are like, hey, you're in this guild this week and you're in that guild that week. It's not something that we do. I do like being in it, and for anyone looking for a slot, pop on my Discord. I'll get you the Awakened servers Discord for recruits, if you're interested in that at all. Looking at your guild, let's pop this over here. 508. Let's see. I mean, you're not in a terrible guild for your level. I'm surprised they're not doing at least 36, but I don't know if you're going to get that much higher of a guild with where you're at right now. What number am I on? I am on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are on number 9 right now. I'd like to get at least 10 done today. That was my goal for the day. So if I do that, I'll be happy. 9.2. We're working on Leviathan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're missing Lord Vader, and we're missing... Why can't I think of the other one? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't tell me. Don't tell me, guys. Oh, and Jedi Master Kenobi. Okay, so we're missing that whole set. Not really that big of a deal. GL gear needed. Let's see. Pretty far from both of them. Okay, Leviathan, I know that we're working on it to 7 stars right now. Bo-Katan. So when we talk about what to farm in the meantime, right, where we should go in the meantime, first of all, Jedi Knight Cal Kestis is not a bad idea. There's no reason not to go for Jedi Cal Kestis right now. You're past the point of ROI. You don't really have to worry about that so much. You can kind of, I don't want to say you're fully on the pulse of new things, but I feel like you're on the pulse enough where it's okay to take some deviations. One thing you might want to consider if you're going for Jedi Knight Cal Kestis is you are going to need to get Seer Junda to R7 for that battle anyway. I just want to see what our Night Sisters look like. I know we're doing CT1. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you, with this team, I don't know what your Zeta crunch is like, but with some Zetas and a remodding, you could probably do CT2 because of Marin. Is it worth it? I mean, that's up to you. You're gonna probably have to restart the event a lot. Um, I don't necessarily think it's the most worth it thing in the world, but maybe you do, and that's from someone who really does like the Night Sisters. Now, again, going back to the fact that you're kind of on the pulse here, you really have two options. You can go into hoarding mode for the Gungans, right? And for Queen Amidala, because I'm imagining you're doing fairly well in... Let's see, do you have Bane? Did you get Bane? No, did not get Bane. Did you get Malicos? Okay, so you got Malicos. You're doing fairly well in Conquest, so you might be at a point in the game where you want those guys a little bit more hardcore. And if that's the case, and that's completely fine with where you're at, that's completely fine with where you're at. I would consider maybe slowly working towards some of the other bigger forms. So when I say slowly working towards, that's kind of like when I throw some relic material on things here or there. For things like GAC, having Profundity can be really helpful. And since you're working on Leviathan at 7 stars, you don't need to full steam ahead Profundity. You might really strongly consider getting it just to 4 stars and slow farming its shards, right? Month over month over month, instead of starting that 6 months from now or 8 months from now. You're in K2. I'm at like the very top of K2. If I win my next match, I probably won't because I turtle. If I win my next match, I will be in K1. You're in K2, and anytime I see people that don't have all 3 GL fleets, I'm like, all right, awesome. This is going to be like a 60-40 win, right, in terms of what I can do. So I would strongly, if you're at a point where you're itching to do something, instead of just kind of like being in a holding pattern, I would strongly consider doing Profundity after Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. I believe that after Cal Kestis, though, really waiting for more raid information is the smartest move for you. With where you're at, with the desire to possibly move to a whatever more focused guild, you might see which characters are going to be useful in this raid and go, oh, hey, you know what? Actually, I want to put more priority towards the Gungans, or I want to put more priority towards Queen Amidala, or, oh, the Separatist droids are the ones that they're using. Great, I want to do that. And it's always good to have the materials to be able to do that. So when I say, hey, we're doing a review right now, I largely think you have 2 options, right? Go for the Profundity as like a, not a slow farm, like a kind of a side farm, or hoard. I personally, in your position, would be hoarding. But again, that's after Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, right? There's not too much else I can say. You're pretty close to the end here. Should you go for JMK? Should you go for Lord Vader? At the point in the game you're at, I do think JMK is a good farm. But again, I largely think that we need to wait until we decide what's happening with the raid and what you need to do with the raid and what kind of priority you want to put towards the raid. If raid details are released and you realize, hey, you know what, I don't actually have to spend a lot of time on doing raid stuff, then I think after Profundity that JMK is a really good option for where you are in the game. Okay, and if you have any other questions, hit me up on Discord. We're gonna try to get at least one more of these done today with the time that I have available to me. Let's see what time it is right now. 2:27. We already did that. Whisk. Did somebody say 10? So number 10 is right here. Let's pop this up on my screen. I know you can't see it yet. That's okay. The account is very close to its 2-year anniversary, so not free to play, by the way. I'm a TB officer as well, so I'm sure you can spec the opposite platoon relics in my roster. I have those, man. I got R9 Hoth Rebel, not Scout, Hoth Rebel Soldier. Got an R9 Mon Mothma. I have an R9 Jedi Knight Luke, which is my friendly one. That was the nice one that I did that somebody gave me, and I said the other officer gave me, and I was like, oh, thanks for something useful. But not something I would have done on my own. I also have one enormous hole in my account for where I am in the game. How fast can you spot it? Jeez. I mean, on the one hand, I want to just read this message. On the other hand, I want to try to find it on my own. But we are in a little bit of a time crunch here. It's gas. He's got chronic back burner syndrome. It's fitting considering Mustafar. I appreciate the humor. Zetas and proper mods are my main bottleneck right now, so there are some teams from earlier in the account's history that could use some work. A link to the .gg. Entirely executors, which is nice, apart from one other Leviathan owner who takes it seriously. Pretty non-competitive overall. You say one other Leviathan owner, so that leads me to believe that maybe you have Leviathan. I'm just gonna... Oh, you do have Leviathan. Okay. I know you can't see .gg yet. I'm aware of that. I just wanted to check before I looked at this. Assault battles. All CT3 except for Secrets and Shadows. Awesome. For a 2-year account, awesome. What are you currently working on? Waiting for Bo-Katan event. I will be working on Gungans as soon as they come out either way, but I'm also thinking about either picking up some ROTE special mission teams or going straight to working through my fairly anemic Galactic Republic faction on my way to JMK. Dead set on current farms. I'm set on finishing Bo and keeping up with the Gungan faction. Okay. But otherwise, I'm a free man. Efficiency versus fun. My focus has mostly been PvE. My favorite characters to prioritize Jar Jar. You are a man or woman or person of my own heart. Excellent. This is a good one to end on, I feel like, just because it's very Jar Jar focused. I'm noticing also, by the way, just on my other screen that a few of you are on Twitch. I normally have my YouTube screen up here. I appreciate the follows from you guys. It is very helpful. So, thank you for that. I'm really bad at keeping up on looking at that screen. 9.8 million, 2 years. So probably some considerable spending. Again, no judgment. I don't give a shit what people spend their money on. It's not a big deal to me. There's that whole, oh, well, you could buy this argument, and I don't care. I can buy two things. I can have a pizza and get something else too. Jabba, okay. You have done some work on this account, man. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Very, very nice. So we're just, same thing, right? We're missing Jedi Master Luke, and we're missing Lord Vader. Just from your message, I actually thought you were a little earlier in the game in terms of GL acquisition, but you have done it. Let's see what this guild is looking like. Okay, first of all, I have to imagine that you're in this guild because you love the people, because you need to be in a better guild. So I'm just going to kind of say that once. Like, you should be in a 450 to 500 million guild. I'm not going to harp on it because if you're someone that really likes your guildmates and you don't really care and you don't want that competitiveness, that's fine. I get that. I know I have some people on the streams that I have brought into my guild when I've needed them just because, they were worried. I don't know if Moon is still here. Probably is in the background somewhere. Worried about the casualness of higher end guilds and having to keep up and catch up and be more serious. And he's been with us for about like 2-3 weeks now. And if he's still on the stream, hopefully he'll pop in chat and be like, oh yeah, it's actually nowhere near as bad as I thought it was. The reality is that there are semi-casual, semi-competitive guilds at all levels. But I'm not going to harp on that past right now because I don't know what your guild dynamic is. Just that you could be doing just so much better than where you are right now. Now, let's see. Yeah, nothing here. Let's see. Galactic Republic. You have that Kelleran. It's so funny to have like Kelleran back up and to otherwise have just the shittiest of Galactic Republic characters. Separatists. Okay. Let's see. Go back to our message here. So Bo-Katan you either have unlocked or you were just waiting for the event. Yeah, just waiting for the event to come back, which should be pretty soon. We're dead set on Gungans. Okay, so we're going to assume everything is after Gungans, right? Everything I say is after Gungans. And like I said, I got the graphic up. Gungans, I'm full steam ahead on Gungans as well. I understand the desire to do that. You are also at a point in the game where you can be hoarding and kind of like waiting a little bit. If you're dead set on your guild, you don't necessarily have to do that though, because your guild's not going to prioritize the raid more than you are, right? So I don't see it as a benefit to you to get into a whole horde mode, other than for the things that you're going to need to build Jar Jar and the Gungans up, you know. So that's just kind of something to consider. After working on that, do we have Cal yet? That's going to be 3 months if not. Looks like we either have Cal or we're waiting on Cal. We do have Cal. Okay. All right. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you are a heavy PvE player and you are somebody who really likes, TB and those special missions, I can make a huge case for the Night Sisters, right? I have all of mine are R8. And again, we're talking about after Jar Jar. I have all of mine at R8. They're an amazing team. I love my Night Sister team. I auto the Marin special mission every single time, except for the one time I streamed them. So I think I'm like 7 of 8 right now, or 8 of 9 with them. They auto everything in TB. They are beast team. I love them so much. When you do the special mission though, just keep in mind that you're going to want to do Old Daka lead, not Mother Talzin lead. Because you need all of the extra health for round 2. That'll give you CT3 on the Night Sisters one too. And we don't normally talk about the ROI on that one because it has such a high investment. But I think at where you are in the game, if you're looking at it from a, hey, I want to get some of these special missions done kind of thing, you're getting an extra layer of doing the assault battle, also bringing Get 2 to your guild. And they are a pretty, if you invest in the Omicron, they're a really nice team for GAC. And I use them in territory wars for Poggle teams and sometimes for Droideka teams, right? So they do have their viability all around as a team that you're going to want to invest in. I think that we're kind of working backwards here. I think I'm doing everything backwards. I do think that you should give more priority to Gas than to Night Sisters, right? So if we're talking about finishing Bo, finishing Jar Jar, I would do Gas afterwards. Night Sisters are my solid, beautiful ROI team for a PvE player, and that's something that I would largely be in consideration of. Ooh, do I want Starbucks? Yes, I do. Coffee. Awesome. Love that. I guess my wife's awake. I would say Night Sisters are a really nice team for you at that point. Have I done Chuck Norris? I think so, because Chuck Norris is not the name on the account. It's Emil, right? Yeah. You were the 6th one I did. We're on the 10th one. Yours is done. Don't worry about going back for it though, because once we finish this stream, I'm going to timestamp them and I'll send it back out to you so you can go right to where it is. So you won't even have to worry and watch the whole thing unless you really want to. So sit back, enjoy the ride. I will tag everybody on Discord once that is all done. As far as after gas, Night Sisters are an option. But you're at a point in the game where I would really like to see you shoring up the rest of your Galactic Legends. So as much as I say, hey, Night Sisters, love the team to death, and as much as I very rarely recommend this, I think that it is time that you actually consider Jedi Master Kenobi, right? I think it's time to do it for you. It's something that you need to get done. Do Night Sisters after that, right? I would, just based off the fact that you've been playing for 2 years and you're as far as you are, I would put you in, dolphin territory in terms of spending. And again, that's not a criticism so much as an understanding of how quickly you can get things done. And I think you'll find that you'll be able to blow past that rather quickly. Do you want to do Lord Vader after that? I love my Lord Vader. I think he is awesome, but I think that by that time we'll know what the next GL is, and we'll probably be able to make a better case for that over doing Lord Vader. So if we're talking again about Jedi Knight Cal Kestis and Jar Jar as being hard priorities, I would say Gas, Jedi Master Kenobi, and then consider Night Sisters as like a nice ROI farm for TB as being the final step of that, right? So again, if you have any questions, you can kind of hit me up on Discord. I'll happily answer. For those of you that are watching the stream right now, we do have a Discord now. It is in the YouTube notes. I don't know how... It's in the Discord, the Twitch profile. There are a lot of helpful people there that I've helped in the past. So questions kind of get answered relatively quickly. And if you do want a roster review, you can, request one there as well. It is about 11:10-ish. I need to start getting ready because we have a movie to go to. We got to go see Dune at noon. I got through the 10 roster reviews that I expected to get through today. For those of you that did request reviews and I didn't get to it today, we kind of had our list right online where I said, hey, these are the ones I'm definitely going to get to. These are the ones I'll maybe get to. These are the ones probably next week. We're probably going to see... There goes that sound again. We're probably going to see all of those done next week, right? So... Oh, is that what that sound is? Interesting. Good morning, guys. Hello. Hi. You're kind of hitting us at the tail end, but you're welcome to kind of join us on Discord and hang out with us there as well. But anyway, all of the other reviews that I need to get done, they'll definitely get done next Sunday. You know when brunch starts. It's at 8:30 every Sunday morning. My mimosa's done. My coffee's done. Those of you that have already seen Dune, don't spoil it for me. I'm excited. I've heard that the drink at AMC is actually pretty dope, so I'll probably spend a disgusting amount of money on that stupid drink to try it and see how it is and piss off the bartender that has to make it. Again, for those of you guys that rated us at the very tail end of my stream, come hit us up on Discord. Hang out, say hi. We do this every week. We have a lot of fun. And thank you